Imagine being told to build a 321-meter luxury hotel. Not on land, not on a mountain, but in the middle of the sea. In 1994, a team of engineers stood in the Persian Gulf, staring at nothing but water beneath their feet. No island, no solid ground, only soft sand covered by nearly 20 meters of seawater. Yet within 5 years, this empty stretch of ocean would become home to one of the most recognizable buildings on Earth, the Burj Al Arab. But how do you stop a skyscraper from sinking into the seabed? How do you build an entire island before you even begin constructing the building? This is the remarkable engineering story behind one of the world's greatest construction projects, creating land where none existed. The first challenge had nothing to do with the hotel itself. It was creating the land beneath it. Engineers selected a location about 280 meters off Dubai's coastline, so the hotel would appear to float above the sea. But at that location, there was only water and loose marine sand. Construction ships arrived carrying enormous dredging equipment. Instead of bringing soil from land, powerful suction dredgers collected sand directly from the seabed nearby. The sand was pumped through massive pipelines and sprayed into the chosen location. Day after day, thousands of cubic meters of sand slowly rose above sea level. But freshly dumped sand is weak. If engineers had built directly on it, the entire island would gradually settle and sink. To solve this problem, they used an advanced ground improvement technique called vibrocompaction. Large vibrating probes were pushed deep into the sand. The intense vibrations forced loose sand grains closer together, squeezing out trapped water and increasing the soil's density. Over weeks of continuous work, the soft seabed transformed into a much stronger foundation capable of supporting enormous loads. Only then could engineers begin protecting the island itself. Protecting the island from the sea. An artificial island doesn't only need strength. It also needs protection. Powerful waves constantly strike Dubai's coastline. Without protection, the sea would slowly wash away the newly created island. Engineers solved this by constructing a giant breakwater around the entire site. Thousands of massive granite rocks, each weighing several tons, were transported by barge and carefully placed around the island. Unlike a solid concrete wall, this rock barrier contained small gaps. Those gaps allowed seawater to flow through while absorbing wave energy. Instead of crashing directly into the island, waves lost most of their force inside the breakwater. This simple but brilliant design dramatically reduced erosion while maintaining healthy water circulation around the hotel. With the island finally secure, attention shifted to the most critical stage of the entire project, the foundation, holding up a giant without bedrock. Most skyscrapers are anchored directly into solid rock. The Burj Al Arab couldn't be. Bedrock lay far too deep beneath the seabed. Instead, engineers relied on one of the most fascinating principles in geotechnical engineering: friction. They drove 230 reinforced concrete piles, each about 40 meters long, deep into the compacted sand. These piles weren't supporting the building because they rested on rock. Instead, the enormous friction between the rough concrete surface and the densely packed sand locked every pile firmly into place. Together, they formed a massive foundation capable of supporting hundreds of thousands of tons. Above these piles, engineers poured an enormous reinforced concrete platform. This platform evenly distributed the weight of the hotel across the entire foundation. Only after months of underground work did construction finally begin above sea level, building the giant sail. Tower cranes soon dominated Dubai's skyline. Hundreds of workers assembled thousands of steel beams high above the artificial island. Every steel component had been manufactured with extraordinary precision. Even a mistake of just a few millimeters near the base could create major alignment problems hundreds of meters higher. The building's most recognizable feature, the giant curved arch, required incredibly careful assembly. Massive steel sections were slowly lifted into place using heavy-duty cranes. Engineers constantly monitored wind speeds because strong coastal gusts could cause suspended steel sections to swing dangerously. As each section was secured, the famous sail shape slowly emerged against Dubai's skyline. By the late stages of construction, the Burj Al Arab had become visible from miles away. But the structure was still missing one of its most unique engineering features: its outer skin, wrapping the world's largest sail. Instead of covering the front of the building with ordinary walls, engineers installed a huge fabric membrane stretching between the steel arches. This wasn't normal fabric. It was made from Teflon-coated fiberglass. The material is lightweight, extremely durable, and resistant to intense desert sunlight, humidity, and salt carried by sea winds. During the day, it reflects sunlight, helping reduce heat entering the building. At night, thousands of LED lights transform the white membrane into a giant illuminated canvas visible across Dubai. Meanwhile, workers installed high-performance glass panels capable of resisting both extreme temperatures and powerful coastal winds. Slowly, the unfinished steel frame became the iconic Burj Al Arab recognized around the world today. Building luxury inside. While the exterior was taking shape, hundreds of craftsmen worked inside the building. The central atrium, rising more than 180 meters, became one of the tallest hotel atriums ever constructed. Italian marble covered floors and walls. More than 1,700 square meters of genuine 24-karat gold leaf-decorated ceilings, columns, and interiors. Every guest suite was designed as a two-story duplex. Glass elevators, cascading fountains, custom-made furniture, luxury restaurants, and a helipad nearly 210 meters above the sea completed the project. Every detail reflected Dubai's ambition to create not simply a hotel, but a global symbol of luxury. After nearly 5 years of construction, what began as an empty stretch of ocean had become one of the world's greatest engineering achievements. An artificial island, a foundation held by friction instead of bedrock. Thousands of tons of steel, millions of tons of sand and rock. Together, they created the Burj Al Arab, a building that appears to float above the sea, but whose true masterpiece remains hidden beneath the waves. It isn't just one of the world's most luxurious hotels. It's proof that with engineering, precision, and determination, even the impossible can be built.